Yep, you're ready now.
Yeah, thank you. Today's session is about the animal kingdom, and those who were present in last week's session, which was about human being and the creation. This is based on the discussion of Imam Jafar Sadiq alayhi salam with Muffdal, and the book is called Tauheed al-Muffdal, from which the content has been extracted. So we're going to start today's session. And for those of you who were present last time, if you remember what were the name of the two kids that we started the video with. Can anyone tell me what the names were?
Ali and Jack.
Yes, they were Ali and Jack. So Ali and Jack, Ali is a believer in that story, and Jack was a non-believer, someone who does not believe in God. That's where we started the story. So we're going to see after last week's session what changed between Ali and Jack. So I'm going to start with that, and then we're going to start with to see what we are going to discuss today. So this is Ali and Jack. Let's see what's happening.
Last session was amazing. Not only did it change my understanding of the creation, and really made me think about all of the Almighty Allah's amazing creation. And I was able to see that there is indeed a faultless plan which we failed to understand. I am so excited for today's session. What are we going to learn about today, Ali? Jack, today we will be learning about the animal kingdom as explained by Imam Jafar Sadiq alayhi salam. But first, we must travel to the animal kingdom. Close your eyes, Jack. Open your eyes, Jack. Welcome to the amazing animal kingdom. Before we start today's session, can you find the hidden animals which we will be talking about today? Come on, guys. What are you waiting for? Come and help Jack find the hidden animals.
All right, so I'm going to pause here. So try and find the animals. Those who are fast enough, they can type the names. Or if anyone want to call out a few names of the animals that you can see on the screen, what are we going to talk about today? Anyone wants to?
Dolphin, tiger, owl, bird, elephant, lizard, monkey, spider, bee, snake, ant, chicken, fish.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. So there's but just except for one, there's no lizard. There's a locust there. So that's pretty good. You got pretty much all of them. So what we are going to discuss about some of there are limitless animals that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created. We haven't even discovered all of them. They are on places on land, in the sea. We haven't discovered anything. It's just 95% is undiscovered. That's what we believe. We don't even know in the depths of the Mariana Trench or other places what kind of species exist. Maybe there is a real life mermaid in the sea. We don't know. So let's start today's session about the animal world. And let's go ahead. So what we are going to talk about is when we look at animals, when you guys go to the zoo or watch some exciting animal videos on Nat Geo or other stuff, that wherever you go and find Tauranga Zoo, Sydney Zoo, Symbio Wildlife, wherever you are in Sydney, if you are going to any one of them, the next time you see an animal, I want you to think about the physical composition and the construction of the world. How do they look like? How have Allah created them, shaped them? What are they look like, right? So if you see animals such as elephants and others, they are very strong. Brontosaurus, elephant, lion, but they're not as hard as stone, right? For if they were like stone, they wouldn't be able to move across. So they are not very soft, otherwise they would broke down, they would be very fragile, nothing would happen. And we can see that their muscles and bones that they have, if you see a leopard sitting or a tiger sitting, you can see the movement of the muscles just like our shoulders and thighs moving. They're just like us human beings. They got eyes and ears. That's so that they can do their hunting, eating, whatever it is, but that is also to serve us. So some of the animals are created to actually help us get work out of them. Otherwise, it would have been very difficult for us to evolve now where we have machines. But in places like the non-Western world, people, the farmers and others, they still rely on animals. They use donkeys for pulling stuff. They use cows for plowing the field and other things. There's one thing which is very interesting. Most of them do not have any intellect, and definitely no reasoning is present in all of the animals, right? So if there was reasoning, then we'll see what happens if there was any reasoning in others. If they had any brain and thinking in others, if I ask you to go and lift a brick, 100 bricks, load on you, you're feeling hurt and pain, and make you continue doing it, you wouldn't do it, because your brain would say, that's too tiring for me, it's my body won't take it. So the way big giant, if anyone has been to Bakra Eid in Pakistan or other places, people are carrying these big giant bulls, cows, goats, and they're listening to even little kids who are carrying them, who are much smaller than the animal itself. Why is the animal listening, right? If you go around and see horses here, little kids are doing horse riding, they're pulling the horse and the horse follows the little kid. Why is such a strong horse listening to a little kid or a cow, right? So we have to think, why do they do it? Because they have no reasoning and intellect, right? And that's why they submit to us, they listen to us, and we are able to get work from them. Either it is for fun, for recreational purposes, or anything, right? So let's see, as we go ahead. We know that we studied men, the human being, in the last session. Men has got these hands and fingers and palms to able to grip objects, right? So common thing which we can see easily between animals and us is, I can grab and hold of this glass, and animal can't hold, most of them can't. I can do other things such as making clothes by sewing that. I can build houses by cutting and being a carpenter. I can do a lot of building like masonry job using bricks and others. Animals are not built for that, right? So they have got broad palms and thick fingers for us to grab them as human being. So now we go. Has anyone seen an animal carpenter building, cutting wood like a beaver doing any stuff? Has anyone seen it? There's feedback coming. Dizabe, can you see if someone is not on mute? Yeah. Okay. All right. So moving back to we haven't seen any animal that is a carpenter. We have not seen any animal, dragon or a bear, doing tailoring job, making clothes for us or for themselves, because they do not have such hands and fingers to do these fine arts that we are able to do, right? And that's the difference. So I'm gonna go start with animals, and I'm gonna start with the king of the jungle, the lion himself, right? The majestic animal that Allah has created, and see how fascinating it is, right? So does anyone know what carnivorous is?
A dinosaur.
A carnivorous dinosaur
No,
is there. Dinosaurs are
carnivores is an animal who eats only meat.
yes, and dinosaurs were carnivorous. So carnivorous is someone that has been ordained, which is by Allah, has gifted it or ordered it or put in its brain from Allah to eat meat, right? So what they have, they've got sharp claws, right? So their claws come out. As you can see, I've put a picture of the claws just over there on the corner. If you can see here, right over here, you see the claw. The claws are inside, right? So when it hunts, it comes out, right? You can see the sharp fangs, these big ones, they're fangs, so that it can bite, and it attacks the neck and it can bite off. So they have been given this, right? So as well as, whereas a goat does not have any claws or anything, right? Neither does it have big sharp teeth. So we have to think why it was like that. So before we go, so I'm just gonna go to the next slide if it moves. That's a goat with the claw, right? So imagine a goat would be pretty scary, and the Bakra Eid would be much scarier if goats had big giant claws and muscular and strong. Everyone would be running here and there, right? So if goats were strong and had claws, plus they eat. So goats, what do they eat? They eat grass. So predominantly they are grazing on the grass fields, they're eating grass, and that's why there is no need for them to have big sharp teeth or claws. They don't have to hunt, they just have to eat grass, right? What do they need? They need more standing to be able to graze and eat. And Allah has gifted them with hoofs, but lions are not, or tigers are not, right? So quickly moving, and I'm going to tell what type of hooves and what hooves are. So we see herbivorous. So it's just opposite of carnivorous. They just eat plants. They just eat. Look at the goat, the lamb. They're all eating, grazing. Even the giraffe, they're all eating leaves, right? The cow eats. They do not eat any animals, right? And what has Allah gifted them? Based on their need, they have been gifted. They have not been gifted claws. They have not been given big sharp teeth because they don't need it. What they have been gifted is what they need, right? They have been given hoofs. So at the bottom of their feet is a strong part, and they're either being gifted with solid hooves or slotted hooves. And I'm going to show a picture just to explain what the difference is. They have been given hooves so that, because they have to stand for longer time. Have you seen a lion just standing? It's either sitting on 2 feet stand like this, or it's lying down. It's never standing long while it's eating or hunting. It just runs, otherwise it just sits. But because these animals have to stand for an extended period of time, Allah makes sure as part of the design they had hooves. But we can identify what kind of hooves tells us which kind of an animal it is, what purpose does it serve, right? The other thing some of these herbivores have is they have got some maternal instincts, right? From when they are born, like the young one follows the mothers around, right? Because they don't have hands like us, so the mother can't carry their kid like a newborn baby. So those of you who've got a newborn baby, they can't stand. As soon as they're born, they can't. But the animals, they walk, right? And they follow their mother, right? In the case, right? Whereas our mothers, they are able to take care of us. There is love and affection and other things. They carry us, do a lot of cleaning and other things for us. Such is not the case in the animal kingdom. Now, these are hoofs. So I've got 2 types of hoofs. So one, you can see over here on your right, is slotted. It's as if it's cut in half. That is for domesticated or wild goats, right? Because this is how they have to graze around, and that's what they're used for. Whereas the other one is the sort of what horses or donkeys would have, because and it is solid in its construction, its design. It's much stronger because they have to not only carry their weight, they actually have to carry weight for us, like luggage and other stuff, right? And for that, Allah has given them hoofs to serve our purpose, what we need for them. So anytime you see an animal that has hooves which look right on the left, they can carry load, right? It can be you sitting on a horse or donkey, or pulling stuff or pulling load on them and carrying that around. That's what they have been given, right? With in the case of the birds, we can see some of the birds as soon as they're born, like in the middle picture, see the little chicks. When they come out of the egg, they hatch around, they start moving around, chicking. They don't need their mom to feed them. They move around with their mother, but their mother is not feeding. But if you see on the either side, where you see a pigeon or you see the other birds, you can see they are getting fed by their mother, right? So one has been given a long beak to put food inside them. And the pigeon is feeding its kid because their young ones are weak and they fly and their design and other things, and I'll discuss some of the other things, but this is one point we need to remember, that they can not feed themselves, so they rely on their mothers, right? So moving into the animal kingdom, which is some interesting fact about how the animals are built. All of the animals have legs, right, for moving here and there. As anyone, except for snake is the other, which actually crawl, but they are those animals which have legs. They are created in pairs, right? Have you ever seen any animal that has leg, but it only has one leg? Has anyone seen an animal which only has one leg? Just the second leg does not exist at all. Right. Yeah, so there is no animal. All animals have legs created in pairs. What does pair means? We won't see three legs either. We will see either two legs, four legs. If we go in the case of octopus or starfish and others, there could be many other legs, but we are talking, and they are very, very minor in number. So we're talking about majority of the animal kingdom. They have either two legs or four legs, right? So, and legs enable them to move around, right? If they have to go for eating and others, uh, when they lift one leg to move forward, the second one is on the ground. When they lift the other one supports them. So one supports them, the other move. That's for legged animals, right? These are some of the two-legged animals, right? So you can see the two-legged animals. This is their motion, right? One supporting, other moving. This is how they work, right? We will go on to the four-legged animals, right? So when you see horses, you see cows, you see goats, tigers, lions, leopards, their pairs move, they lift their pairs on on either opposite side. So just like as an example, we take an example of a chair. Have you seen a chair? If I cut the back two legs and I only have the two legs, can you sit on it, right? Would it balance itself? It wouldn't. If I cut the front two and leave the back,
No.
would it do it? No. If I cut the two on the right hand side and leave the left hand side, it will still not balance. It needs all four legs for it to balance, right? So animals like who do hard works, camels, donkeys, and others, they all have four legs, right? And the front leg of the right side, so as you're moving your front, if you notice on all of the animals, when the front right leg moves, the back hind side left leg moves into locomotion. The other legs are supporting them. This is their movement. That's how they work. So going back to animals like a camel or a donkey, and what now we are using cars to carry stuff around, and in olden times we predominantly, and still in other countries like Pakistan, Sri Lanka, India, they use animals for doing a lot of work, for farming. They use cows and bulls for plowing. They use donkey to carry load. They use camels for carrying load in the Arabian desert. So I've got a video. What if the camel actually has an intellect and reason? So what if Allah had given them, in simple words, brain and reason to think and make decisions? So I want you guys to watch this video and let me know what you guys think. Yeah, here it comes.
Can you please carry my luggage? Nah, mate. I am not moving your stuff. I am way too tired. Can you carry mine? What can you possibly want me to carry? You see that giant cactus next to you?
You must be kidding, right?
So as we see in this video, the camel actually refuses to take the luggage, right? Because it has anything, it's feeling tired. And right now, even the animal, when it's tired, it doesn't have speech, it can't talk, it can't tell us. So the animal can't say, hey, I'm too tired, I'm feeling hurt, I can't carry a load. But in this case, if it had the brain enough, it would say, no, mate, I'm not carrying your stuff, man. I'm too tired. It's too hot, or it's too hot in the desert. It's way too hot. Instead, what he's doing is he's asking them, hey, carry my stuff for me. Why can't you? If I can carry your stuff, you can ask me. Why can't I ask you to carry something for me in the desert, right? So that's what would start happening, and
Please carry my luggage.
we won't start getting work done, right?
No, mate.
So with the faces of the animals, right? So we have to look at how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created the faces of the animal, right? So Imam Jafar Sadiq alayhi salam said the shape of look at the shape of the animal faces, right? Their eyes at the front, so that they don't go and hit a wall or fall inside a pit, right? If their eyes were on the side, like on the side, it looks on the side, but they're way pointing straight, they're looking straight ahead. They're not sight like. So if my eyes went from here to here, that would be the sight, right? We won't be able to get any work done. And where there will be a lot of trouble, right? Look at the mouth, right? So if you see animals have a different mouth, they have cleft, which is the mouth is slightly cut, right? And our mouth is how it is right now, is without cleft. Their mouth enables them to grip objects from the ground, like eating and grabbing grass and eating them. If their mouth were like our mouth, they wouldn't be able to do it, right? That's why we have hands to feed ourselves. Sometimes some of us become animal. We try eating it off the plate, licking the ice cream and other thing like animals, but predominantly hands are to be used for eating. For animals, their mouth Allah has made it in the design. All of the animals that have nothing else, their mouths have cleft, so they can come and eat as they want, right? Tails of the animals. Now, does anyone remember what is the name of the character on the screen, right? Before I tell about tails.
Tails.
Yeah, that's tails, right? So this is, can anyone tell me which cartoon movie?
Sonic.
Yes, it's in Sonic. Who was that?
A hedgehog.
No, I mean who's speaking? What's your name?
Kian.
Kian. Okay, nice. So tails from Sonic, that's there. But what is the purpose of the tails that animal have, right? So some of the cartoons are amazing, and I'm very fond of watching cartoon movies and others. They give you cool stuff, cool information to see. Tails is able to fly with her tails. That's not the case with the animals. Some of them can do. Some squirrels do glide using tails like that. But we have to look at what the benefits of the tail is, right? What is the animal? It is sort of a covering for their excretory, their private part. It covers them. They can wag it around to move the flies and mosquitoes when they're coming to it. They are like a fan, like sometimes they move it like a fan around. So if they don't had it, right, they wouldn't have mosquitoes and flies going away. They would be in trouble. Some of them, when they get stuck in the mud, they actually use their tail around to get out of it, right? So Allah has given tails to animals that are required, and you'll see a lot of animals like lions, tigers, they all have tails, right? Dog has tails, and tails has tails, right? So can anyone guess which animal is this in your screen?
Elephant.
Elephant.
Does anyone see anything wrong with this animal?
No trunk.
Yes, it doesn't have any. So now imagine, who can tell me how does an elephant eat or drink? Does it go and down and drink? Does it eat from its mouth?
No, he sucks from his trunk and then put it in his mouth.
Yeah, it sucks the water, or so actually the trunk itself has like fingers, sort of fingers. It can grab tiny nuts and bring it into its mouth. So What do you think if an animal had no animals such as an elephant had no trunk, would it been able to survive in the jungle or the forest or anywhere? Can it feed itself?
No.
No. No.
Yeah.
No.
So the animal would die, right? So now look at now, there's a difference. So what we need to do is look at an actual elephant next, which actually has the trunk in it. So that trunk is part of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's clever design. If we look at the design, it serves the purpose of a hand, right? We can use it to take water, which it needs to drink, food, nuts that it picks, right? It can lift other stuff with it, right? Even logs and other things. It's very strong, right? It extends it. It meets the need of the elephant, right? Now, think about how merciful our Lord Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is. He has given an elephant a trunk to compensate for hands or other things missing as compared. There is no neck that an elephant has, right? Elephant has no neck, so it can't move around its neck. The head is connected directly to the body. To compensate for that, our trunk has been given, which is such a clever design by the Almighty to help the animal do it, right? Now, this is for other people, right? The non-believers. Think about how merciful it is, how everything has been thought based on a design. So non-believers, they think, how can the nature who has no knowledge, no power from last lecture, can able to come up with a clever design? Oh, the elephant doesn't. What if elephant actually had a neck? What would go wrong?
It will move and the head will go at the floor.
Yeah, so the animal, see, or the head is so big and strong, the neck would be strained and it would hurt. He won't be able to control it. That's why Allah created the big, large head directly to the body, part of the faultless design that Allah has created, right? And instead of that neck missing, he has been given with a trunk, which it can use it. Now, so who is the one who has given the elephant? Almighty, all creator, right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, for it to meet its need, right? Because we can now clearly see an elephant example. We can say, if he has no trunk, there is no way of surviving. Now we can see there is a design, because if nature is creating everything and everything is evolving and coming by itself, then why is it so smart? Everything, even the animals, all of them individually have their needs, right? Hooves, claws, fangs, teeth, all of this is part of the mighty creation, right? Let's see another animal, not an elephant, another animal, which is a
Giraffe.
giraffe. That's right. Now, giraffe is one of the most amazing animals. You can go to Taronga Zoo, you can go to the zoo in Blacktown, they have some giraffes, you can have a look at it. Now look carefully, the giraffe's face actually looks like a horse. The long neck of the giraffe, it's like a camel, right? The camel has long, and then you see the hooves that it has at the bottom. You can't see in the picture, but if you go and see, they're like cows, and the body is patterned like a leopard, right? So it has the pattern of a leopard on it. Now all of it, who could create? All of the other animals totally different, yet in a supreme creation created by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, by it, right? So the creation, we have to think how the all-knowing has created the design, right? Now, when we think about animals, when we say, what does a giraffe eat? Giraffe eats leaves, right? Plants. Now, it could have been given a very short neck like other animals, and it could just go down and eat grass. Why a long neck when it was a herbivorous? Why give giraffe a long neck?
Because the giraffe has to eat from the trees.
Yeah, and as part, that's right. Giraffe has to do it, but why it has to do it? As part of the ecosystem, everything in the supreme design us, animals, plants, the whole creation, the mountains and everything has a specific design, right? And a specific purpose of them in the ecosystem, right? It needs to eat the leaves from top of the plant because some has to clean up. Sometimes there's cleaning. This is part of the ecosystem. And that is why Allah created an animal that could do it. In the old times, they were big, giant dinosaurs with long necks eating from the trees. And that is part of the evolution, right? You'll see these animals. That's why they're doing. Otherwise, all of the trees would be full at the top, and they would be fighting for grass where they are. So right, so it doesn't bother going down, giving strain to its neck. And it's amazing how they're created, right? Next one is a very funny creature, which is a monkey, right? So we look at monkey like the organs. If you look at, oh, it's got hands, it's got a face, except for a tail, pretty much looks like a human does. And internally, the organs that it has, it resembles very closely to us as human beings, right? But it has something more as compared to other animals. It has been gifted with the brain and intellect. So it's smart. It can copy. It predominantly copies. When you go and you do something, the monkey will start copying you, right? That is because it has intellect to copy things. Have you seen a cow copying you? Has anyone seen a goat copying you what you're doing? They don't, right? But monkeys and chimpanzees, and some of them, they're very smart. They have quality just to see how activities they can do, right? So that is all part of the nature, their resemblance. So something to differentiate, which I said was the long tail that it has. And what is the other thing that is different beside the tail on a monkey with us? Who can tell me?
It has hair.
It has hairs all across his body. We don't see us. Have you seen a guy moving all from top to bottom, just hairs, right? And on that answer, we're going to move to a topic that is very close, the animal skin. Now see, I'm wearing this shirt. Last time I was wearing a different shirt. Everyone changes their clothes. Your mom and dad ask you, go and clean up, do a shower, change your dress so that you look nice and clean and presentable. That is all part for us that we are. Sometimes we like to wear blue. Sometimes I like wearing green color. And sometimes we like to wear Minecraft shirts or any other thing, or Sonic shirt. This is all what we can do, right? But animals need protection when they're out, right? They don't have clear. Who's gonna look in the earlier picture? It's not really true, right? A bear and or a dragon, or any animal is not suing anything to make any clothes for anything. So in cartoons and movies, they may be an animal tailor like in Zootopia, but not in actual life, right? So Allah has given them this big skin, right? Some of them have fluffy, some of them are hair that are skin like. They're covering their body, protects them in the environment, and serves them for their entire life, right? And some of the animals like sheep regrow that which is called as wool, right? So some of our clothing come from the sheep skin. It's taken off, we take it as it and use it, and it is part of the livelihood for some people, right? So they graze and feed sheep. The sheep grows the wool, they take it off, they use it, right? But animals, they can't do any clothing and others. So Allah has given all of them with this covering. Allah has given them hooves or padded feet. So for a camel, its whole feet is not made of hoof like a donkey or a horse. It is padded because it has to walk in the desert. Only the top, there's like two nails which has hooves in it, right? So that is all. Now think about it. In the nature, if it was not the all-powerful, all-knowing, how does a nature that does not have any power or knowledge knew that the animal would need something to protect its body in cold, other weather, wet, and need a skin? Because they won't be able to use a tailor. Who except the all-powerful, all-knowing, almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knew, right? So we have to think, right? When someone comes and asks, I don't believe in Allah, I want you guys to remember this stuff, right? All of these are reasoning from animals to us, which actually helps. And not to forget, anyone who attends all the sessions, there's a special prize at the end, right? So listen carefully and wait for your prize, right? Let's move on, right? So burying, when someone dies, we go to a grave and bury them, right? What do animals do, right? Wow, who's burying the animals, right? There's certainly no animal graveyard that you can go and say, pay your tributes or respects to. But look at this guy, what he is doing, right? Mr. Kangaroo, right? Or that's Arabic speaking kangaroo, pretty awesome. Can speak Inna ilahi wa inna ilahi rajiun, which means we belong to Allah, we return to Allah. So what if you see, if you watch any movie anywhere, even around you, see a lot of animals. There are so much in number, so much more than us. They are not able to do what we do, like have a graveyard, but we don't see any carcass. Carcass is a dead animal body, right? We don't see their dead remains outside. They're all gone, right? So Allah has blessed animal with instinct, right? So before we go about burying, who was the first person that was buried in human history, as we know, right?
Yes. Yes. Prophet
Adam's son.
prophet brother. No, the first prophet's son.
Yes, so Prophet Adam's son, which was Habil, right? So Kabil actually killed Habil, right? And
Yes.
then he didn't know. He was scratching his head, hey, and he was feeling ashamed, guilty, but he didn't know what to do. And this is a blessing, right? Some of the things we don't understand are so big blessing. Allah sent it 2 crows. One of the crow, by the order of Allah, fought with the other and killed it. And then it digged and buried the other crow. Kabil saw that and then buried his brother. So the crow was the first teacher how to bury from the order of Allah to show it to Kabil, right? So that was the first case where Crow did it, right? So Crow is not a bad dude in this. Crow actually did what Allah asked him, showed it to us to bury. What if now for a second, if we stop here, what if that was not the thing? Kabil did not bury, right? What would happen? If we don't bury our dead, the epidemic will flow, like diseases and other things will start coming, right? So to run with it, what all animals do, Allah has given them an instinct. As they are about to die, some of them know their death is coming. They go and hide in a secret place from themselves and they die there. So you don't see. Animals, the only bodies that you see, you will see a car hitting an animal, something dying, or a hunter hunting something. Those carcass remains. The other, sometimes an animal like a lion will come and eat something, but it doesn't eat all of it. That's why Allah has created, and there's so many dead bodies. Allah created vultures. They go and eat that rotten, deceased meat, not the fresh meat, eat it, and their stomach has been created, which has such potent acid that kills all the bacteria and other things they don't get sick, but they save us from those diseases flowing, right? Diseases come out of rodents and other things. So that's one thing we have to be thankful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Allah has given the instincts. So very quickly, and from animal instinct, and I'll show you a very cool video of one of the animal instincts after this. So when a deer, it swallows a snake sometimes in the jungle. It has swallowed a deer, but it knows, Allah has given it an instinct to know, do not drink water after it, because the poison will flow all throughout in the body, no matter how much thirst it feels. After it has swallowed a snake to save life, it will not drink water, right? And with the fox, Allah has given, like now we know fox are clever and cunning. That clever and cunningness of a fox is an animal instinct, which Allah has given into the fox. And now this is when you see, oh, why did it's clever? So fox is very clever. When it's hungry and it can't find any food, what it does, it pretends that it's dead. And the way what it does it blows up its tummy, and the birds and other things, they come and they look, hang on, is it dead? Oh, once someone starts dying, their tummy starts getting bloated, the gases are being full, and they will come and start checking, and that's when the fox jumps in, grabs the bird, eats it in a food. This is an instinct for a fox to save itself, which was given by Allah, right? And all of that eating of one animal to the other this is part of the plan, because this is how an ecosystem relies on, right? And you can read more about it, but I'm doing quickly. Now, same with dolphins and okras. Okras are a type of species of dolphin. What do they do to catch a bird, right? So I'm going to play a video and then you guys tell me what it does, right? So there's an okra. It's a very short video. Hopefully it plays. So can anyone tell me what did it do?
It spit out fish to lure in the birds.
Yes.
It's trying to trick the birds.
Yes. Now watch the video. Cool.
जी बेटा, not really. क्यों? I want you to see. I want you to watch this.
Okay, so I'll stop it here. Do you know what it did? It lured the bird. Now this isn't where you are visiting, right? Out in the ocean, the dolphin is so smart with that instinct. What it does is it actually kills a fish, leaves it at the top. Over here, you can see the okra was out. The other birds, some of them were smart enough, they just waited. They didn't win, but one of them was dumb, and that's how it was caught. But in the ocean, what it does is the okra or the dolphins, it hides inside the water, and the way it hides it and the bird can't see from the top is it stirs the water around it, right? So it makes the water all muggy and the bird can't see the dolphin and the okra sitting underneath it. And as soon as it comes to pick the fish, it gets straight into the mouth. And that's what is an animal instinct, which now imagine this, Tauheed, in Tauheed al-Mufaddal, Mufaddal wrote this, and Imam actually told this, that this is what dolphins do, right? Out in the ocean, 1400 years back, no videos, no recordings. Imam, all of the things that I'm telling you, all of the things are that Imam told us about, and so much more. I'm just telling you very short what the Imam said, right? Okay, we move on. Python and the cloud, right? Do you know what's the deal with Python and the cloud? Does anyone know?
Python is scared of the cloud.
Yes, Python is scared of the cloud. So Mufaddal actually asked Imam Jafar Sadiq alayhi salam, what's the deal with the cloud and the Python? So actually, the cloud is like the overlord, the control, the master of the Python. The Python will dare not lift his head up if the cloud is there. So only when it is full bright, the sun is there and there is no cloud on the sky, Python will lift, and that's when it hunts. Otherwise, it doesn't. And the cloud, it's scared of the cloud. And this is all documented, but this is what the Imam told us. And this is how it does, right? Why it wasn't? Then Mufaddal asked Imam, why is it done? Then the Imam said, it is so that it doesn't harm us. That's why the cloud has been made the overlord, a protector, like a protecting angel over the Python for us, right? Now, why will someone say, what if there were no snakes? They are dangerous, they're poisonous. There are a lot of good things that comes from all creation. Nothing is useless, right? Snakes actually eat rodents, which are mouse and other things around in the farming and the crops, so that we are safe as food. So right now, even with Allah creating snakes and they eating a lot of rodents, we have a shortage of 200 million food that got eaten by rodents. So imagine if there was no snakes, we would have a severe food shortage in the world, right? That is one need. Medicinal purposes, they disperse seeds as a secondary medium for us. There are a lot of other things, but I'm just going to quickly move so I can cover a few more things for you guys. Okay, let's move on to the ant, right? Now look at the ant, right? Look at the front part of the ant, right? How is Allah has created ants and the birds, right? So we'll talk a little bit about birds. I've already spoken a little bit about them. We do not see any deficiency, right? So what does an ant do? Very quickly, ant breaks up its food, right? It has this instinct. Who has given the instinct to break the food so it doesn't go bad, right? So if they pick up a seed of corn, if they do not break it, it can sprout, right? It can start becoming a small plant, another, if because they go and take it into, put it into the soil, it can sprout and become useless for them. So they break it up as one of the reason to carry it across, right? And the way they work, they pass along the things, they're showing you how teamwork is, right? So for us, there are a lot of things, just like learning how to bury someone from the crows. There are so many other things. Learning how to fly by looking at the birds. There's so many things we learn from the animal. And natural instinct of ant is wherever they are building their places, they build above high so that it's safe from flooding, right? So who has given this thinking, which we think, oh, like this just work? This is an instinctive animal instinct which Allah has blessed the ant with, so that this is its kindness to its creation, right? For it to do all of these things. Same with spiders. There is a type of a spider which is called the loin spider. What it does is, where it pretends it's not moving, but then slowly go and grabs it's a fly and eat it. And there are spiders who build big spider webs and wait for the fly to come in, then it breaks the fly and eats it, right? Who has given that instinct to the spider to hunt and survive like that? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given the instinct, right? Now we look at lot of animals, and now we are looking at some of the birds as part of the animals. Allah has created so many birds. There some have long beaks, some have long necks, some have long legs, some have crops in it. So quickly, some of the things. Look, we look at as a hen as an example. If why does hen is always roaming around, but sometimes when it gives an egg, it doesn't have any reason, doesn't have any thinking, but it sits on the egg. You can't make a hen sit on egg, but it's sitting on an egg. Why? Is it to preserve the race, right? Sooner or later, that hen has to die. But if all of the hens do not sit on the eggs, there will never be an hen species left, right? Who gave that to preserve his nature in its instinct? It's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who has given it to the hen to do this. These are some of the things that we look around. Why does that? Why it doesn't do that? Who told it to do this, right? So look at another example of a thing that for a lot of birds Allah has created. There's something called here, which is a crop, right? So anyone who knows backpacks, knapsacks, they are like a little bag. Instead of carrying at the front, they carry instead of carrying at the back, they carry at the front. And what they do is they store their extra food there, right? So when some of them have to give it to their kids, or the path, if you see the hen, the path is very small. So if it start feeding one by one grain, it would be too slow. So it holds it here, then it can take from the crop and eat as per it need, or carry some of them carry the extra food to go and feed its babies, right? The young ones. That's why Allah has given another thing, right? So why there extra cream? Someone would have make, and look, for us, I don't know how the bag was created, but sometimes you look at some things, oh, they're carrying extra stuff here. Oh, this is how has Allah has created the bird's feather, right? They are so thin like threads with the middle part attached, the air fills it in, it enables them to fly around. Allah has created birds with feathers, specific purpose to them. And someone say, oh, it could just happen in the nature. If you have seen a beautiful peacock, right, or a partridge, you will see they have amazing patterns on it. Who could have created that design and pattern? It is the all-powerful, all-knowing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That pattern can't happen just by itself. And then if it happened, then it will happen different. It comes the same beautiful pattern, right? And the feathers help the bird in flight, right? When they have to, the air fills up, they have a special shape so that they can cut through the air and go. There's so many things. You can read a lot about birds, exciting stuff in the book itself, right? So I'm just gonna quickly move to the next one. Birds with long legs, right? If you see these long leg birds, they are standing in shallow water. So often, sometimes you go to the lake, you will see these birds standing in the lakes and the rivers and streams with their long legs, and they're very still. As soon as they see something moving, they go puck and they pick it up and eat it. So Allah has given them long legs and long beaks to get their food. This is what they have been given to do it, right? So if you see a bird that does not, sometimes you will see some birds, they do not have a long neck. So all long leg don't have a long necks. They would actually have a long beak to meet that requirement, right? So this is how they get their food. The birds go and get their food. Their food is not in a single place. Their food is all scattered around. They're able to get their food from one place. So imagine if all the foods which the bird eats, like crops, it was one place, and we destroy it or something else, some naughty human goes and burns it, all of it is gone. So it's spread across to meet their need, right? It is not easily like available just where they are. They have to do a little bit of effort. Like we have to get up in the morning, brush our teeth, go to the table, and then our mom or dad make something for us and give it to us. Little bit of effort. They have to go out and do a little bit of effort and get the food around, but it is there. It's not impossible to get. It is possible, and they have the means given to them to get what they need, right? Now, I don't know how many of you remember, but this is a very, very interesting movie. Does anyone know the name of this movie? Because you should watch it if you haven't. Does anyone know? No? So the movie is called Legend of the Guardians, and they are called the Owls of Gahul, and it was released in 2010 or 11. Go and watch it. It's a very exciting movie about the owls. Now Allah has, the night birds are, I'm just going to talk about owls very quickly, and bats. They come out at night and their food is in the atmosphere, right? So when you go as an experiment, go out sometimes when it's dark and have a lamp or a light or a torch with you. As soon as you open, if you're out in your backyard, something, you will see a lot of flying insects. They will come around the light. So some people said, oh, they are animal, these insects, they are not in the atmosphere. They were in the forest. So how quickly do they come from the forest? As soon as you turn on light, they're not traveling with speed of light. They can't come there, right? So they are in the, what are they for? They are the food for the birds, such as the owl or the bat, right? Bat is a very interesting, it is more like an animal. It walks on all fours. It has teeth as compared to a beak. And as compared to all the other birds, not only does it urinate, it actually poos as well. So it's very different how it's created as compared to all of the animals, right? Very interesting animal it is. Some people in the old times used to think that bats actually just eat cold air. And the reason I told you was, for those people, the response from the Imam was, if it only has air and it doesn't eat anything, and it doesn't lay eggs as well, right? So it gives live birth and it feeds its young ones, right? This was the reason given, that if it doesn't eat anything, then why does it need to poo? Why does it need to urinate as compared to other birds which only have one, right? So there are interesting things, and that's why in the atmosphere Allah has organized their food, which is insects. They can come and eat them. This is part of the wonderful creation, right? We look at bee, like bee has no brain, nothing, right? Comes and gets the food. Now look at the next image. Those are hives. Beehives, they are hexagonal shape, all very similar looking. Who told bee to create such perfect hexagonals, right? Allah has given the bee to create these hexagonals, go out and get that tasty, yummy honey out from the flower, which we can use for our purpose. This is Allah This is the mastery that we see, the brilliance of the pattern that we see. All of the bees create the same pattern. No bee is going and creating circle, square, triangles, rectangles. The hives look like hexagonals. Who is telling them how to create these shapes, right? If they have no intent. This is an order from the most exalted our Lord that they are created, and they are showing you there is an all-knowing, all-powerful creator who has appointed me to build such patterns for you to see, right? Very quickly, locusts, they are very weak. If you look at one of them, they are very weak, right? And this is an interesting story. So everyone would have heard the story of the elephant coming, Surafil, and Ababil, which is a tiny bird, came and threw the stone, and it destroyed all the elephants. Abraham and his army was destroyed. But some people who don't believe in the Quran, they're not going to listen to your story. They want to see something that is live example. Locust is a live example, right? They're very small, they're tiny, but they are weak. They can't do. But when their swarm come, if you take the biggest army in the world and it comes, they won't stand a chance against the swarm of locusts. They will just run over them, run over, destroy, ruin all the crops. So if you want to see a supreme example of how a little bird with a stone can destroy, locusts can destroy everything around that comes around it, right? And this is some example that you can see that Allah has shown that how all powerful, all created. The weakest of the animal, which you can squish, can actually come and make you run for your life. Just like these guys were running in the Jurassic movie, right? The locusts come in, even though they were bigger, but they were running when they are attacking. So the last topic, we're coming to an end. Very quickly about fish. Look, fish don't breathe, right? They don't have anything to breathe. Allah has created them to remain in the water, right? They remain in the water, but they've been given gills, so the water comes in and it comes out. What it is, just like we waking up in the morning and taking a fresh breath, right? This is like a fresh breath for the fish, right? But fish are a primary source of food for us, for animals, people around the lakes, the riverbed, the edges, the animals, the polar bears, everyone rely on fish. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is so merciful us that when a fish lays eggs, there are countless eggs one fish lay. For if it was not so, we would be short on the food, which is a primary food source for a lot of us and the other animals, birds, so on and so forth. So Allah has created them, given them this characteristic that they actually produce a lot of eggs, right? So there is an example for us to see. Allah has created an insect, cochineal, which we used to dye, right? So people started dyeing clothes. When they saw this animal, they started dyeing their clothes. It was used for dyeing. Everything that Allah has created, which we know so little about from his limitless creation, has been created for a purpose. It's part of a grand design, how they meet and do, right? All of them without any reasoning. Only we have a reason. If I tell you a reason is 2 + 2 is 4 and I count it, you will say, oh yeah. But an animal won't have a reason to tell other animal and that follow, right? This distinguishes us from them as insects. So in today's session, what did we learn today? So I'm closing off. There is nothing in creation which is useless. We may think why a rat was created because we are scared, why a snake was created, why this was created. Everything has a reason and a purpose of why they are created. Nothing is useless. Back to last session. Those who have not watched the video, watch the last session video. Everything is part of a faultless design. It's just like a well-furnished house and a blind guy in that house. Just because he can't see it or don't understand the purpose of it, we think it's useless or everything is useless. No, it's not. It has a purpose. We are still learning about our planet. Forget about the planets that are outside, which Allah has created, right? Animals lack reasoning. They don't have reasoning. All of the things that they do, they're part of the animal instinct which Allah has given them to do this. Like the bee creating the hives, the dolphin actually luring the fish, the fox tricking into catching a bird. All of this is part of their instinct, how they have been built. Some of the animals have been built to serve our purpose, to help us carry load, do hard work for us, use it for recreational use it as a food source as well. Almighty, all-knowing, all-powerful Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed them in instincts to help them survive in the part of the ecosystem, right? And look at the diversity of the animals. Like some are long, short, some have no nose, no hands, some have claws, some have hooves, some have padded feet. All of them, which is among limitless creations, they all have their own merit and benefit that they have, right? We just have to see and understand, wow, what has Allah created, right? It has to be the creator. It has to be someone all-knowing, because as you learn, you know a reason. Like when I read the book, I say, oh, there is a reason, okay, that the slotted hooves and the solid hooves distinguish who can carry the load, right? You wouldn't go and sit on a poor fox and try to ride it, right? Or a bunny, because it's not made for it, right? Even if the bunny became stronger, right? So this establishes how a lion only sits even though it's hurt, but the goats and the sheep have to stand for longer periods of time. This is why Allah has given them hooves, right? Among so many other things, right? So now, where did I read all of this from? From this book called Tauheed al-Muffdal, right? You can get it from this link in Kitab group. Intizar Bhai has shared the link. And what you guys can do, of any one of you who is not in that group, please get at it. Intizar Bhai will upload the video there. He has given the PDF, or you can order it on Amazon. This book is available. You can get it from Amazon as well, right? Or among any other place that you can buy. Very good book to tell you about Tauheed. So what we are trying to understand is there is one creator who has a faultless plan and a design. What we need to do is study and understand it and tell other people, right, who fail to understand. Like Jack was a non-believer, right? Now he's thinking, yeah, what's happening? Things are changing, right? Next session is about the environment, right? How the environment is, what is the purpose, what is the creation about? That's what I will be discussing. I'm going to close it over here. I'm going to hand it over to Intizar Bhai. Assalamu alaikum, and thank you, everyone. Thank you for listening. Intizar Bhai.